everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mrs. Burns, roll call, please.
Mr. Congdon?
Here.
Mr. Feather? Present. Mrs. Hollenbeck? Present. Mr. Morris?
Present.
Mr. Parentano?
Present.
Mr. Rudy? Here. Mr. Sullivan? Here. And Ms. Boyle and Mr. Santa are not present.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. The board met in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, issues related to labor relations, purchase, sale, lease of real estate property, and potential of current litigation. Any announcements, Mrs. Burns?
No announcements.
No announcements. Superintendent's report. Mr. Jones, please.
So with our new board docs feature, the superintendent's report is attached online. You can read all of this in detail. There is a lot that is happening at the end of a school year. It would be hard for me to do justice to just what's written, let alone all the activities that are taking place. But let me just give you a quick rundown in an abbreviated fashion. Pre-K counts. We have a classroom, two classrooms actually, of preschool at the Land of Children in Feasterville, and we had a visitor from Pennsylvania Senator Tommy Tomlinson earlier in May. Good for us to be able to showcase the work that we're doing, and good for him for taking an interest in preschool education and being present there at our program. So we were appreciative of that visit. Also, there is notice about the fact that we are running preschool, not just those two classrooms, but looking to expand to 2 more classrooms. And so on our website, attached to the superintendent's report, there's information about how you would go about applying. If you know anybody who has children ages 3 or 4 years old, they should look to reach out and get on a roster for both locations that will be at the Lower South School next year, as we're looking to move it to our old Lower South School, as well as over on the Levittown side, probably at the Schweitzer School for next year, if we are able to expand and get the monies for the new programming from the state. That's all state funded. We had a couple of Sandburg students, 6th graders, Zach Souders and John Spina, represent us in a math competition. It was a countywide competition. It's called Challenge 24. You're supposed to take numbers and take 4 numbers, add, subtract, multiply, divide. They came in, Zach 4th place and John 6th place in the entire county. That was fun for us. Maple Point continues to do just a whole slew of good civic and community activities. Maple Point's very involved with veterans and the American Legion, and we had more students recognized by the American Legions. They also, Maple Point here, had a Memorial Indoor Hockey Tournament to raise money for a student here who unfortunately died a tragic death this past summer. But it was a good program, a good opportunity for us to rally around the family and do some nice work. Maple Point also, No Place for Hate Club, was represented on a Sunday at a Walk Against Hate march at the Navy Yard in Philadelphia. And we also had Pequesson have our students, girls, attending a girls' STEM conference at the Delaware Valley University in Doylestown. That included 800 girls across the region, and we had a nice contingent of people out at that time. Carl Sandburg, 3 tons of food to kick off their field day event. Students brought in food. 3 tons is over 6,000 pounds of food. It was amazing. It was the single largest donation from a single entity that the Pendle Food Pantry has ever received. At the high school, our marching band proudly participated in the Memorial Day program that took place just this past weekend, 2 weekends ago. Military commitment ceremony. If you have not seen what the high school does for those who are graduating and joining our armed forces, it's a wonderful program. It was spotlighted on our Facebook page, but we do a really nice job right during the middle of the school day, right in a large area there at the high school where students who are passing get a chance to see and appreciate the fact that we're taking some special moments to recognize high school students who are making a serious commitment to the safety of all of us and committing to one of the 4 branches of the armed forces. Our Pequescent Select Choir was out at WMMR and Channel 29 just yesterday morning. They had a beautiful rendition of a song, a popular song that they had recorded, and somehow it got caught and picked up, and we were invited to go out to those two locations, and they just had a great time representing the district. Elementary school, fourth graders, musicals. Never before have I seen it, but Fertibar and Miller. Fertibar did a jukebox time machine. Miller this week is doing Aladdin. And just what a great opportunity for young people to have that exposure that early. And you would have thought this was at least a high school quality show. I mean, these young fourth graders were doing just some phenomenal work. Congratulations to them and to the district for supporting the arts. We have this rotating art gallery here. This month it is Miller, the Miller Elementary School, and Stacy Potter has 28 different students represented here, and her elementary students, she's proud of their work. She has some nice explanatory comments in the back in terms of what it is that she tries to do through her art, and I'm continually impressed with the multidisciplined aspect of what our art teachers are able to do with students in terms of joining together a lot of what they're learning in their classroom with their art. Schweitzer is very big in community, and there was a small contingent of Schweitzer students out at Special Olympics with some families, friends, and teachers on a recent Saturday at the end of April. It was just a great day for our students, our Schweitzer students who were able to compete. Tawanka is out in the community. Just this past weekend, Tawanka was at the library, at the Township Library at Lower South. We do a lot with our public libraries, and this was an opportunity on a Saturday evening from 5 to 7 for our students to get out to the library. The Tawanka mascot was there, and it was just a way to kind of generate some excitement around the local public library. We appreciate being able to join forces with the library. And then finally, we had some really nice professional development programs back on Election Day when students were home. Our teachers had a lot of nice opportunities during the course of that day here for them to grow professionally. And then at the end of school, we actually have 2 days because of snow. You wouldn't think our teachers are overly excited about extending their school year by 2 days, but they today received a really nice, probably one of the most impressive local school district brochures I've ever seen for professional opportunities. And so we're looking forward to the 19th and the 20th when our teachers are going to be able to choose for themselves things that are going to help them become better educators for the next upcoming school year. So I'm really pleased to report on just some of the exciting work that's happening here at the end of the school year. So thank you very much. And at this time, we do have one special presentation today, and I'm going to call up two people to help us introduce what we are going to talk about. And Principal Don Palmer and our nurse out of Tawanka, and Principal Palmer's from Tawanka, Carol Alexis. Thank you.
Hi. We're here to recognize one of our support staff members, Recess 8, Casey Tutweiler. 2 Thursdays ago, Casey recognized that a student was choking on an apple at recess. She didn't hesitate. She immediately went into action, administered some back blows. They were not effective, turned the student around, gave the Heimlich maneuver, and was able to dislodge the piece of apple from the student's throat. So on behalf of Mr. Frank Ferry, our state representative, we have a proclamation here, certificate of recognition from the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. As principal, I just want to personally thank Casey for, like I said, not hesitating, jumping right in, and being able to act and react without panicking, without having the students panic, more importantly, and get that object out. So her quick thinking really did save a life that day, and we're very happy for her actions. And then we also have...
Okay. Ms. Tutweiler, we have to say this. You told me you have some kids that are at home.
Yes.
So it's not surprising that a mom is going to be quick to jump in and help like that. And we're really fortunate that for a school system, it's not all just about the teachers that I was talking about. It's about every adult that kids come into contact with, from the point that they get on the bus to the time that they're out at recess on a playground, to the secretary that they meet in an office. And here's an example of someone who's coming to help us out during the course of every day. And we can't get it all done with one nurse in an elementary school with about 700 students, right? 800. Don't let me.
He was only 6 years, he was only first grader.
And a little first grader. And so, to have adults in our building who are willing and ready to help assist on all facets of what we do, but certainly in an emergency like this, the principal and both the nurse both grabbed me and said, "Can we do something special?" This is, not the most special thing that we can do for sure, but we wanted to pause during a public meeting and be able to say thank you to you, thank you for what you do every day just by being here and helping us, but certainly thank you for being there that day for this particular student.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. A picture.
All right. At this time, we're going to move to public comment, but we didn't have anybody signed up. So if you do wish to speak, please approach the podium at our second portion of public comment. I'm going to make the list for items for approval at the public meeting so everyone's aware. Suspension, furlough, and demotion of certified staff, fund balance, final operating budget, homestead and farmstead exclusion, state mandated food price increase, addendum to the Extended Mission 1 agreement, addendum to the Extend School Operations Services Agreement, contract services, Aramark contract for food services management, 2017-2018, consulting services for monitoring compliance of the district's food service program, local, state, and national contract participation authorization for 2017-2018, fund balance commitment for PSERS, budgetary adjustments for federal and other programs, year-end budget transfers, overnight trips, bids, policy updates, and use of the Neshaminy School District buses and drivers. At this time, we're going to move to our committee reports. Business operations, Ms. Hollenbeck, please.
The next meeting for June 13th was canceled. We don't need that. We do, however, have a meeting on June 19th, 6:30 in this room. There's going to be a presentation about how Aramark did the first year. So if anybody's interested in that, please come out and hear about that. And we're also going to have a presentation about options for investments for the school district. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Boyle is not here this evening, so we'll have her report back to us on the educational development, unless there's somebody else there that would like to make comment at the last meeting.
We haven't had any meetings since the last meeting, and we don't have any meetings scheduled until the new school year.
Thank you. Also, the policy committee, does anybody want to make comment of the policy? Steve?
Policy Committee met last week in May to discuss adoption and modification of the public speaking policy as well as the recording of meetings policy. They're both on tonight's agenda for consideration by the board to be voted on at the June 20th meeting of this month. I do not believe at this point we will have another policy meeting this school year, and they will resume in September, October. Mrs. Boyle, being the chair, will set that agenda and make the board and public aware. Thank you.
Thank you. IU board, once again, Ms. Boyle will be reporting back to us on that at the next meeting. Neshaminy Education Foundation, Mr. Feather, please.
No update at this moment.
Thank you. PSBA liaison, Mr. Parentano, please.
Recently, the most recent news surrounds Senate Bill 1. which is a reform of the pension program. I don't want anybody to get excited because it is not going to affect our PEASers obligation one bit. This will be for new employees that sign onto the system. They will be in a different funding mechanism. While I think it's great that, and the opinion right now of the PSBA is that while this is a long-term help to the system, it does nothing to address the short-term problems of PEASers funding. Currently, there is nothing in the system that will change our obligations, and we will stay on the same funding track to at least 2032, unless some type of intervention on behalf of the state is made. So that presents a whole host of issues for the school districts to fund in the future. The other most recent publication involved a article on school fund balance, which has been the news of late. I feel it really brings a balanced approach to understand what fund balances are, what they're supposed to do, and how they're supposed to be managed. And from our perspective, and I know our business administrator's perspective, and Neshaminy adheres very well to those practices. And I think it creates a good position for the school district that we can use our fund balance in order to maintain our programs and maintain the security of our taxpayers. Other than that, state budget's still up in the air. No conclusion yet on what direction that's going to go. Hopefully it won't be like last year. Other than that, there's been some conferences that are available to board members. You all get the emails, and if you want to attend them, please make your reservations. That's all.
Thank you, Steve. Technical board, school board, Mr. Rudy, please.
Okay. Yeah, we have a pretty extensive report tonight. The Tech Board met May 22nd. They participated in the state skills competition earlier in the month. 17 students received a gold medal, and they'll go on to nationals. 9 received silver, 16 bronze, for a total of 42 medals, which they did a great job. So, I don't know if anybody's heard, but the authority has actually been looking into a major capital improvement project at the tech school. This has been going on for 6 months or so, at least. There was a presentation which indicated that there are many areas that are undersized. The HVAC needs upgrading and AC installed in much of the building. They suggested the construction of a gym as well as a new roof. There will be another presentation that will be given to the full board at each of the sending schools prior to voting on that, which they would like to get done this year. It's not a small project. It's $35 million. So Neshaminy's share will be $10.2 million. However, the bond will be timed to follow the expiration of the current bond at the school, and will actually be slightly less than we've been paying. So there will be a presentation so people can see and ask questions. And it was about a 45-minute presentation. It was very informative. You can make your decision there. So moving on, our very own Joe Jones will assume the superintendent of record in August, I believe it is, or is it July?
July 1.
July 1, okay.
It will not impact my work here.
All right, very good, very good. Graduation will be June 15th, 6:30 at the Sunbank Arena in Trenton. And our next meeting will be June 26th at the Tech Conference Room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy. And congratulations, Joe.
Thank you. Couldn't be happier.
All right, at this time, we're going to move to our second portion of public comments. So if anybody would like to come up to the podium, 3 minutes, state your name, area you reside, profession, please no personal attacks. Going once, going twice. All right. Anybody have any future topics? All right, be it there none. Board comment. All right. Be it there none, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second, please? Mr. Sullivan, all in favor? Thank you, everyone. Good night.